Breaking right now, we are still sort of getting some of the details in on this. It is our first possible insight into the incoming Inspector General report on FISA abuse. It's set for release on December the 9th. According to a report from CNN, not independently verified from us at this point, although we are working on it as well, says that it's going to reveal that an FBI official is under criminal investigation after allegedly altering a document that was related to the 2016 surveillance of the Trump campaign advisor, likely, according to reports, Carter Page, although everyone knows that he was the first FISA application. So that's why that assessment is made at this point. Now, the IG has also reportedly handed this evidence to John Durham to be included as part of his investigation as well. Joining me now, former Attorney General and Alabama Senate candidate Jeff Sessions. Sir, thank you very much. Good to see you this evening. What's your reaction to this?
Thank you, Martha.
It's good to be with you.
Well, I think it's I have no information on what's in that report. I first would say that, but I do say that the Inspector General is committed to integrity in the Department of Justice. He's a professional, and he has a large staff, and I've been impressed with his work. He's a man of integrity, I believe, so we'll see what that says. But let me just say this. All of us in the department that served there, as I did for 15 years in Alabama, we know that you have to reach the highest levels of integrity. Nobody is above being reviewed to make sure that they did their work properly, and we'll just let the facts come out at the appropriate time.
You know, I mean, obviously, the president has always said that he was very upset that you recused yourself from that investigation, and some say that led to this special counsel, to the Mueller report, to 2 more years, and some even make the leap that because that fell apart, that's why we find ourselves with this Ukraine situation. Now, what do you say to that?
Well, that's a pretty strong series of events. Look, we had a disagreement over that. The president and I did. I believe I did the thing that I was required to do. The matter has, he's been cleared, it appears to me, on the Russia matter, for which we're grateful after a very long effort. And this Inspector General, which was there when I was there, he will complete an investigation internally, and I support Attorney General Barr's efforts to investigate the predicate, the foundation that was laid to start this investigation back when I was an active participant with President Trump in the campaign. Yeah. And so that's the right thing to do. I'm proud that the system is beginning to focus on that, and I'm confident that we'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
At least I hope so.
That was the big question that Bill Barr raised, the Attorney General now, that he wanted to know whether or not the investigation was adequately predicated. And that goes directly to the heart of what we're going to learn here, whether or not the FBI had good reason to be pursuing these campaign officials at the Trump campaign. Let me ask you about you, sir. You're running for Senate.
Martha, on that, I do think that...
Go ahead.
Okay. I would just say that I think the American people, after all of this, do need to know that the investigation, how it was conducted, who did it, who participated in it, and was it properly and legally and professionally done. I think that's a fair thing at this point in history to have happen, and those who criticize it, I think, are totally unjustified.
Absolutely. You have decided to run for Senate in your home state of Alabama, and you're getting a little pushback. There's a report in the New York Times that President Trump sent word to Mr. Sessions through allies that he would publicly attack him if he ran. Did he send you that word?
Well, let me just tell you what the president said just about the day I announced. He said he was going to let the people of Alabama decide that race the same day. The Vice President of the United States said the people of Alabama would decide who their next senator is. And Donald Trump Jr. In Birmingham said that the people of Alabama will decide that race. So we're going to be faithful to my duties if I'm elected to the Senate. And I'm going to support the agenda of the president like I always have. I was his top supporter in the Senate before I left, and I'll probably be, I'm sure I will be, the top defender of his agenda if I'm allowed to go back by the people of Alabama.
All right. Well, we will be watching closely. They've got some competition in the primary of this process, and we're going to watch closely. We hope you'll come back again and talk to us soon. Mr. Sessions, it's very good to be with you, former Attorney General. Thank you for being here. A lot of breaking news tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You bet.